So, Vladislav is back and I welcome everyone to learn Adobe Illustrator. Last time we discovered simple objects and their properties. Well, today we're going to create more complex shapes based on the simple ones studied earlier. And as usual, we will review different tools and methods during creation of an illustration. Well, traditionally in our tutorials we represent landscapes. And just like before, we are going to start with two rectangles. Those will be sky and grass. Top rectangle will be painted blue and the bottom one will be green. Also, we will add a gray rectangle over the green one. It will be the road. Two-sided road with a dashed line. And as usual, there are multiple ways to create it. You already know the first one. It is a rectangle duplicated horizontally in the same distance. Ctrl D, remember? But there is another way to do it, and it is based on the line properties. Let's try this one. Let's draw the line horizontally with the line segment tool. If you remember how to make a line completely horizontally or vertically, leave the answer in the comment section. Thus, we have got a line, but it is too thin. We can change its thickness right here on the control panel or on the stroke panel. By the way, you might not be familiar with units of length used here, so you can change them if you need in the Edit menu, Preferences, Units. After getting an appropriate thickness, press the underline toward stroke on the control panel, mark dashed line and set the length of dash and gap. In case your line is not white, change its color. Now you can lock in all the background so that it does not bother you. You can lock objects anytime you want. I choose this moment for myself, but when you are a well-trained specialist, you might not use locking at all. Then we will make clouds. We have already made them several times, but before they were just circles of the same color, grouped together. But today we will combine them into one object. But firstly, we need to draw them. For further work, we need a Pathfinder panel from the window menu. Select our cloud and click the first left button on the top row on the Pathfinder panel. This button is called Unite and is designed to combine shapes into a more complex one. Then you can repaint this cloud in any suitable color. I choose white. Now let's create greenery along the road. Let's start with trees. For the trunk and branches, we're going to combine a rectangle and two triangles. And we will make a tree crown to look like clouds, but green. The crown and the trunk can be grouped but cannot be combined, because they will become the same color. The bushes will have a slightly more complex shape, just a bit. And that is because in order to get bushes, we will cut off the lower part of the cloud. So, first we make a shape similar to a cloud. Then we draw a rectangle on top of the existing shape. It should cover the part of the figure that we are going to delete. Select both of these shapes and click the minus front button on the Pathfinder panel. This shape remains as a result, but if you click this button with an Alt key, it will become a compound shape, and we can change the position of the shape as well as the shape of the resulting object. This works like isolation mode in groups. To convert a compound shape into a regular one, you can press Expand. Other buttons in the Shape Modes row will remain as an intersection of objects or an exclusion of selected objects. That is the kind of environment we have got. You can add any other objects if you would like to. Now it's time to make a pause and press like to this video and subscribe if you didn't yet. Thank you, and let's move on. Next step, we're going to create a car. This shape will be even more complex. To make the shape of the body, we will combine two mirrored parallelepipeds and a rectangle. Then we need to round corners, but you will choose the radius of rounding individually to get a desired shape of your car. With two parallelepipeds, we will make windows for this car. Try to repeat the shape of the top of your car body. We will split window into two different shapes by subtracting a little bit rotated rectangle from this shape. Then we will draw a wheel, a rim, and mark a space between a body and the wheel. We can do it with copy-paste commands or with a scale tool. Let's duplicate this set. Now we'll mark front and tail lights with rounded rectangles. Next task is to remove the axes, these parts of the circle. Once again, we have two ways to do that. In order to show you each one, I will duplicate the car. First way is to divide objects by their borders. To do this, we need to select everything we're going to work with and press a divide button on the Pathfinder panel and group these objects. Now we can see that every object that had an intersection with another one turned into a separate shape. Now we can delete unnecessary parts. But there is a problem. The tires and the discs are now cut by the car's body. To connect them, select pairs of these elements and press the familiar to you Unite button on the Pathfinder panel. Like that, we have a lot of objects we can paint into different colors. The second way I like much more, Shape Builder tool. And that's how it works. If you have a few intersecting objects, select them and then drag the left mouse button over them, and they will be united. But if you hold the Alt key, these objects will disappear. It's about either lines or planes. So let's hold Alt and cut the axes. For the sake of completeness, I would like to describe how other bottom line buttons on the Pathfinder panel work. Trim does the same as minus front but keeps top objects. Merge finds the same colored objects among selected, unite them, but other colored objects are trimmed. Crop cuts bottom objects with the shape of a top one. Outline turns fillings into outlines of the same color and splits them at the intersection points. Minus back does the same as minus front, but on the contrary subtracts bottom object from the top one. Now we can add a reflection on windows. For that we can split the window with a line and divide button. But also we can cut an object with a knife tool, which works only with selected objects. If you just draw the line, it will be curved but smooth. But if you hold an Alt key, the line will be straight. And if you hold the Shift key as well, the line will be straight horizontally, vertically, or at the angle of 45 degrees. And this line will cut previously selected objects. You can add bumpers, the front and rear of the car. All that remains is coloring in. Now we can put the car on the road. If needed, you can add another car in the reverse direction. To sum up, today we have learned a few powerful and useful tools and got another illustration into our compilation. However, while waiting my new lesson to come out, do not forget to practice. The more you do this, the better your works will be. That is it for today. See ya!